years of fighting for it and dying for it, they achieved it.
One of the most closely guarded secrets of the Cold War was America's role in supporting Afghan warlords known as the mujahideen. The official story is that America backed these fundamentalists in response to the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan in December 1979. But that's not true. It was 6 months before the Soviet...
Oh no, what do you mean? Oh no, this is craziness, absolute madness. This is the fucking point that I was making before about like how if you're mad about the Taliban takeover, you should be mad even before Operation Cyclone. You should be mad at the United States involvement that wanted to go to a USSR invasion by literally drumming up insurgencies and arming the absolute tits out of them. Okay?
Invasion in July of
against
that year,
the socialist government.
That President Jimmy Carter authorized $500 million to help set up the Mujahideen, a terrorist organization. The American people were completely unaware that their government, together with the British Secret Service, MI6, had begun training and funding Islamic extremists, including Osama bin Laden.
That's crazy. What?
Out of this came the Taliban,
No.
Al-Qaeda, and September the 11th. Soon after the Taliban came to power in 1996, the administration of Bill Clinton backed a secret plan for a pipeline through Afghanistan from Central Asia, which has vast reserves of oil and gas. The Taliban were offered a generous cut in the deal and secretly invited to Washington and Texas. They were treated royally, taken shopping and flown to tourist attractions like the NASA Space Center and Mount Rushmore. Their tour was so secret that no television news covered it. Most Americans knew nothing. By the time George W. Bush came to power, the link between Al-Qaeda and the Taliban was an embarrassment, and September the 11th gave Bush an opportunity to get rid of them. Today, Afghanistan is run by a regime installed by the Americans, and the pipeline deal is going ahead. September the 11th also presented an opportunity to an influential group who, even by Republican Party standards, were extreme. Ray McGovern is a former senior officer of the Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA, and a personal friend of George Bush Sr., the president's father.
The same people who are running U.S. policy now are people that the president's father kept at arm's length. They were referred to in the circles in which I moved when I was briefing at the top intelligence and policy levels. They were referred to as the crazies. The crazies. I mean, you talk about the crazies, everyone knew who they were. Richard Pearl, Paul Wolfowitz, Doug Feith, those folks.
The crazies also include Donald Rumsfeld, seen here in Baghdad in 1986, warmly greeting Saddam Hussein, who was then being armed to the teeth by America and Britain. This is one of their...
Wait, what? Wait, hold on, what? No, wait, did he say they armed Saddam Hussein to the teeth? That's crazy.
Blueprints, published in 2000 by the extreme right-wing group Project for a New American Century. The US military will fight multiple simultaneous wars as the cavalry on the new American frontier. The principal author is William Crystal.
The problem with America is not that we go around marauding around the world.
Fucking Bill Crystal, dude. Another demon.
Imposing ourselves. The problem with America in the last 10, 15 years since the end of the Cold War, really in the last 60 years, is that we've been too slow to get involved.
Yeah, that's the real... Bro, that's the real problem. Is just like we're not fucking hitting hard enough, fast enough. You know what I mean?
In conflicts.
Outside America, people have worried about the United States
conducting an unprovoked attack on a country, a sovereign country.
Are they? Are they?
Yes, they are.
Really? They worried we're going to attack Britain, France, Germany, any democracy?
Oh, I love that, dude. I love that. The only countries that matter. No, motherfucker. Of course our NATO allies are not worried about America attacking them because there are NATO allies.
No, because...
Any decent regime?
No, no.
Oh, decent regime. Okay, never mind. How about the American regime, bro? What's so decent about what we're doing? I hate this fucking piece of shit. I hate Never Trump Republicans so much, dude. And I hate MSNBC for fucking platforming them. And I hate the New York Times for platforming them. Like, they are not a real constituency. They are not a real collective. They're not a real group of individuals. They are mercenaries, okay? They're mercenaries in the take economy. They originally fucking justified so much bloodshed, and then they moved fucking teams, and they still continue to do that exact same thing. The fact that these dudes can run around and write Atlantic articles over and over again when they're abysmal fucking failures, when they're abysmal attitudes, they're horrific attitudes that dehumanized and led to the death of millions of fucking people in the Middle East, is not fairly adjudicated. And instead of going to jail, which they deserve to be in, okay, for a very long time until rehabilitation, they get to fucking just continue to whitewash their involvement, continue to whitewash that same kind of like brutality, and point the finger of blame elsewhere, like they had nothing to do with it.
The United States doesn't usually attack strong countries.
Do we attack decent countries?
No, I said strong countries.
Well, I was asking decent countries.
I don't know
Are
what
people
you would
really
call,
worried the U.S. is going to go, a decent law-abiding country, and the U.S. is going to come in and say, we don't like the look of you, we're going to depose you? Is that something the U.S. has done?
What about Iran? Maybe not boots on the ground military warfare, but what about the near entirety of Central America and South America? What about those countries? Law-abiding. Was Chile not law-abiding?
Quite often. How many countries has the U.S. attacked in the last 15 years?
All of them. The answer is like all of them with the exclusion of NATO and China and like other regional powers that this person, or superpowers around the world that this person is like correctly pointing out.
Well, since World War II, there have been 72 interventions by the United States.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
That's ludicrous.
Well, it's not ludicrous.
That's ludicrous. No, that's history, you fucking piece of shit. That's the best part. That number is actually a conservative estimation, okay? And it's also increased significantly since this video was filmed. But let me just say something here, okay? The reason why Billy Crystal, old Slick Willie, can get away with like laughing at America's horrific wrongs throughout history is because most of you don't know the history. Most people don't know the history. Okay? That's it. That's literally it, because it's not taught in schools. You don't fucking hear about it. You never hear about it. Even if you go to college, you don't hear about it more often than not. Okay? So miss me with that, like, college is a Marxist indoctrination factory. Okay? Because neoliberal hegemony dictates or necessitates imperialism, and the only way to sustain it is by feeding you a steady diet of misinformation, purposeful obfuscation of the truth, omission, all of that.
Ludicrous is true. These are some of the countries where the United States, directly and indirectly, has overthrown governments, manipulated elections, and attacked popular movements since 1945. Bush's war on terror is just another brand name replacing the Red Menace as justification for a systematic aggression. This is well documented, yet it remains a kind of secret history, seldom reported in the West, as a war of terror.
It's just a list of the countries. Yeah, like all of them. If the U.S. stops imposing its will, what's stopping Russia or China or any of the global powers from threatening the U.S.? What do you mean threatening the U.S.? What does that mean? Like, I need someone to explain threatening the U.S. by what, dude? People always fucking say this, like... Obviously, we're holding off the Chinese front from the Middle East. I don't understand, though. Like, why? It's been a fucking massive burden for us, and we've done so much death and destabilization. Let China fucking deal with it and ruin their own imperial endeavors if they're gonna do so. That was taken from this documentary. I got timestamps if you want it. Oh, this is an entire documentary about the lies on war on terror. I don't want to... Dude, I don't want to go through another 51-minute documentary with, like, a fuckload of blood. When you say you don't want the United States interfering, what you mean is like you don't want the United States to interfere, or when you say you don't want other nations to interfere, what you actually mean is you don't want the other nations to fucking, you know, steal the resources that we are supposed to be stealing. Okay? That's it. That's the reality. Because that's all that's happening. Okay? Why did so many dinosaurs die in the Middle East? What? Like, yo, istiyorum yap lütfen. Yok, hayır. Okay, here's what I will say. Okay? Our insurgent and our destabilization efforts have not necessarily changed the ideologies of these places. Look no further than the Middle East or